everyone, it's Jewel. Today we are off to White City in West London to check out some new art exhibitions and gallery openings. Our first stop was Blue Paradox, and if your TikTok For You page is filled with art exhibitions, you've most definitely seen this by now. It's really blown up on social media. So much so that even if you have a ticket like we did, you have to wait in quite a queue. We were probably outside for about 20-25 minutes, and then to our surprise, the line continued inside for another probably 10 to 20 minutes. But once you're inside, it's definitely worth it. So the Blue Paradox was an immersive experience installation discussing the ocean's plastic crisis. And the show had free tickets, but unfortunately by the time this video is up, it would already have closed. It was only open for about 10 days. But since it isn't open anymore, I thought it'd be extra important for me to share my experience and some of my thoughts about the show for those of you that weren't able to make it. After waiting in the queues, the first room they took you into was definitely the most immersive. There was screens from the floor all the way to the ceiling, and they had us sit along the back wall and watch some short clips that were really visually stunning and had some nice messages as well. So I'll play some of those here and you can see kind of what it was like.
Human or otherwise is connected to the ocean. The ocean gives us life in every beautiful, surprising, fascinating, and spellbinding way imaginable. What difference can a drop in the ocean make? Everything. Welcome to the Blue Paradox.
It was almost like being in a even more immersive IMAX movie experience. And I do have to say that I feel like these kind of immersive shows are really getting popular, mostly because of social media at this point. But I do have to give this exhibition props because this viewing experience was one of the best immersive experiences that I've had. And after the video, they take you into a couple other rooms that have more information about the plastic waste in our oceans. This first room had several screens displaying some live information with real-time plastic waste, and then also some infographics on the countries that are causing the most plastic waste. This was the more informative section of the exhibition, but even these screens with the real-time plastic stream were immersive, and you could kind of gesture around these little dots of plastic. It is pretty crazy to see the exponential growth of plastic that happens between the 70s and now. And next we went into this room that looked like it was out of the Matrix or something, and there was screens that you could interact with. You can see everyone kind of huddled around, showing more information about the plastics in our ocean. And this next room was also really cool. It has different types of plastics, like plastic bottles, Tupperwares, plastic cleaning spray bottles, all these different products kind of going around on a conveyor belt. And you can see some of these are green, and this is showing basically the percentage of plastic that is actually recycled. So even though when we throw away or recycle our garbage, we think that we're doing the right thing, but even the things we're recycling don't always end up being recycled properly. I think this part was just a really good reminder of what a waste single-use plastic is, so it's a good reminder to bring your own coffee cup or bring your own plastic bags and things to the store, so that way you don't have to use it once and then throw it away, and most likely it's not even recycled properly in the end. And this next room also had some more screens with information on it. You could also take a pledge to help change the plastic crisis in our oceans. Overall, I think this exhibition was really well done. They definitely focused more on the visual aspects, making it interactive and immersive, and I think that definitely paid off because of how many people went to go see this show. Next, we are off to Frestonian Gallery for the opening night of Tim Braden's new show entitled Pinks, Greens, Violet with Cadmium Yellow. This show is open till the 6th of November, so you can definitely still check it out. This show is filled with paintings by Braden, but you can start to see in some of these clips that the texture of the painting is really interesting. It looks a bit rough compared to maybe a typical painting, and you can see the canvas peeking through in a lot of areas. And this is partially because Braden is inspired by textile design. So you can definitely see this, I think, in some of his works. It looks as though it's made out of a different medium than painting itself. Within the show, I also really liked the different vibes that some of the paintings gave off. You kind of get accustomed to this textile-like design that you can see in some of the paintings where the colors are really matte and they're not full blocks of color, so you can see through to the canvas. It looks like it's done with a very dry brush. So you kind of see that coming through in a lot of his works, but then you also have some of these more watercolor-like works with these rich colors, and you can't see the canvas coming through in the same way. The only way you see it is because some of the paints are transparent, not because the brush is letting the blank canvas come through itself. And then also some of these more scenic works with gardens and people and figures in the works. So I really like the different variety here, even though you could definitely see a continuous theme and artistic expression coming through. This painting here is probably one of my favorites. And I didn't notice until looking at it a few times that it's actually people in the painting. When you're close, it just has this textured appearance like the rest of his works where there's blocks of colors, but as you step away from it, you can see that there's actually two figures in the painting. One of my biggest pet peeves, though, with this show, but really a lot of exhibitions, is that the press release is so confusing. I was reading through this at the gallery and just thinking to myself, well, what does this even mean? The words that they're using and the phrases, it just sounds very flowery, and they're just trying to make it seem super impressive. I think it's really fine to take the paintings for whatever you want to take them for. And really all this is saying is that he's pulling from a lot of traditions and using medium and subject matter in a unique way. And our last gallery stop of the evening was to Muse Gallery, and this was the opening night of their new exhibition entitled Lightwaves, which is a show of works by Churchill and MacKenzie. And this opening definitely felt a bit more intimate. A lot of the people there were family and friends of the artists, and both artists were present and talking about their art and really just chatting with anyone who came. It was a really nice evening. And it actually turned out to be pretty cool because some of the themes in this exhibition were quite similar to the Blue Paradox show. Here are 3 sculptures made by MacKenzie, and they're called wave sculptures. So their form and shape is actually used from graphs of healthcare, vaccination, and coronavirus cases. And inside is water, so you can look through and peer down into kind of almost another world, as if you're looking through a peephole. And this is kind of a common theme that both artists are looking at. They create these new ecosystems or worlds that are a bit fantastical and a bit tied to our own reality. And the paintings are done by Churchill, and they kind of vary between medium a bit. So you have some more watercolor looking works and also some oil paintings, a bit similar to the last show we were at where one artist shows their skill in multiple different types of painting. And Churchill's works are very colorful, and she's also again creating these little ecosystems of life. So she's looking very closely at nature, almost as if you're looking through a microscope. I thought this was kind of an interesting parallel because in Caroline's works, it was as if you're looking through a peephole, and then in these paintings it almost looks like you're looking through a microscope. I really like the use of color in Coral's works as well. And in the back of the exhibition, after you've seen all the paintings, you enter this kind of immersive experience, very similar to the blue paradox, with these projections on the screen kind of filling your view. But this is actually a collaborative project between the two artists, and it was really nice to just sit in and enjoy and take it all in. You get some of these colors and shapes from both works. So you have the color from a lot of Coral's paintings, and this idea of waves and the oceans that tie back to Caroline's sculptures in the beginning. So it was really nice, just ending to the show, and there was some seats and you could just sit and enjoy. The show will be open till the 10th of October, and I definitely recommend checking it out before it closes. And we finished off the evening with dinner at Ukai. I loved the ambiance here, and the bathroom was decorated with a bunch of Japanese prints. So that's all for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on art events in London.